pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, be with us today as we deliberate the business of the county. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind the best interest of our residents, Lord, and those that we serve. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind your teachings, your guidance for us. And ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes from November 12th, 2024?
And I made the change that Steve pointed out.
Yeah.
Make motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carries to approve the minutes from November 12th. Thank you.
Okay.
Tony promised we'd have a quick meeting today, so.
I can do my part. Can't speak for anybody else. First thing I have, this is involving PERF, and it goes back to 2014. And for some reason, we have an employee that is trying to collect PERF now. And PERF was not collected then. And the county's part in paying for that missed PERF is $374.18. So we would need approval to pay this former employee's PERF in that amount. If you have any questions on that, Bree's here to answer those if you have any.
Motion to approve.
What account would that come out of, do you know? Not a particular line item. Would it be?
Probably the retirement one.
Okay. All right, we've got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you want to see it too? You can see it. I'll go back upstairs later.
Motion carries.
All
right.
The next thing I have is Resolution 2024-10, the declaratory resolution for the designation of regular meetings of the Adams County Commissioners for 2025. You should have received this in your email. So we would just need approval of Resolution 2024-10.
Those all look like they made sense to me. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion carries to approve resolution 2024-10.
I handed out to you prior to the meeting the utilities paid in Lao, and the amount on that is $30,526.88. $30,526.88.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
Next, we have Allied Weekly Health Insurance claims in the amount of $57,743.07. Medical is $12,941.63 of that. Prescription is $44,914.24 of that. Again, for a total of $57,743.07. And I did verify the claimants.
All right.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, motion carries. Pay the medical.
Morning, Mark.
Morning.
Okay. We have an Eastern Alliance workers' comp claim, and that amount is $368.92. $368.92 for Eastern Alliance workers' comp.
Okay, any questions on that?
Make motion approved.
Second?
Okay, motion carries.
Now we should have received the payroll time card approval for appointed department heads. Would be the next item on the agenda there.
Make motion approved.
Second?
Okay, motion carries.
Okay. We have payroll claims. Payroll claims are in the amount of $393,950.07. It's a little higher due to the election. Election workers being paid out of this one.
What's that first number, 390?
$393,950.07.
Okay, 93. Motion approved.
Second?
Okay, motion carries to approve payroll claims as presented.
And then the final thing that I have is we have missed a person in our office, and we are getting behind on critical deeds that we need to get done for end of year. We expect that person to be back at some point here in the near future, but in the meantime, in order to stay caught up and not put the other offices in a bind as well, Lynn Gills is willing to come back for a short period of time, just a temporary basis at $25 per hour to keep us caught up in deeds in the meantime. I also spoke to Clayton about that. So like I say, just temporarily to come in and help us get caught up.
Sounds like a great way to handle it. I appreciate Lynn being willing to do that.
Do you have part-time funds or?
Yeah, we have money in our budget.
Okay, I'd accept a motion to approve the contract.
Real quick, because
Oh.
we do kind of, I think some stuff came up today, me thinking about it. Are we paying that individual out of claims? How is that person going to be compensated?
Out of claims. Yeah.
So we're intending on, again, just a contract for temporary.
Temporary contract.
So she'd be paid W-2? Not,
Ten-
or independent?
1099.
Yeah, 1099.
1099? Okay,
She wouldn't be an employee, she'd be a
all right,
contractor.
all right. So as out of, just, she'll submit an invoice for hours?
Yep.
Okay. No,
And
that's,
again,
that's
it's-
fine.
It's only temporarily until person gets back, so.
You guys okay with that? Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, motion carries.
I would do it just a simple.
Thank you. And then that, I think that's all that I have. Appreciate that. I believe I did all of mine. Yeah.
All right, Nate, what do you have for us today?
Residents here for you. Update on Bridge 58, that's the bridge there on 500 North, just east of 400 West. Concrete test cylinders passed their brake test on Monday. I was waiting for a date on the asphalt, but as I was sitting in the parking lot to walk in here, I got a call. Sounds like Brooks is out there ready to pave this afternoon once the rain quits and then the sun comes out. So I'm going to stop out there and see how that's going. So
Can you give me 30 seconds or less on what you talked about? I have in my head what I think you're talking about when you talk about the concrete cylinders and the brake test. Would you explain that
All
to-
right,
to a
so-
layman like me, please?
when they pour the concrete, there is a mixed design of sand aggregate, the cementitious materials that go into making that concrete, that E5. So when they pour that, they end up pouring essentially dummy cylinders of that same material. And so what you're doing is there's a graph of strength that's supposed to develop during the concrete cure. On residential, you don't usually test it. You're using a standard mix. Well, these are always kind of batch mixes for like the specialty concrete for that deck. So before we put traffic on it, we've got a point on the curve that it's supposed to meet by 7 days minimum. We were about 600 PSI above that during the break that happened on Monday.
So
which
how
was
do you
the
test that
17th.
break? Do you actually put it,
So-
is it a,
Yep, they pop the
machine?
plastic, they pop it out of the plastic cylinder that created the form for it. They put it in a brake and they essentially just crush that.
okay,
And as they're putting strength on it, there's a gauge that will essentially measure how much weight they're putting on
So
it until it
it
finally
tests it
yields.
until it, okay.
So it's kind of a fun job. They don't pay those guys that do the test, but you get to break stuff all day long in the test lab. So it's kind of a fun little thing to do.
So they didn't do that on site, they would have
Nope.
done that back in,
They take those back to the lab and they'll mark the date and the time on it. And when the time comes up, they'll start breaking those and they'll write down the strength that hits. So I'm supposed to get a copy of those, but they broke them just yesterday.
so since that's done by the contractor that did the work, did they certify then some kind of a certification that's a,
Yep, so I'll get a lab results of it. If they were to falsify something like that, on a DOT project, we pay a separate contractor
Gotcha.
to do all of that.
gotcha,
In circumstances like this, we're working with the same burn ready mix or IMI. So you're working the same plants that we're working with on all of those projects.
Okay.
So we have a fairly good relationship, but we would go back on them if there was something odd that happened that would be strength related to it. But we're so far above where we needed to be anyway.
Good to
If we were anxious about it, I could contract somebody else to do the test, pull the samples and do that. But it's a fairly expensive add-on for a contract. But that's essentially what they're doing.
good, good.
Sure.
Kind of had in my head what I
Yeah.
thought was, that helps me
It's
better.
a good field trip if you ever get a chance to go watch somebody
Yeah.
do that.
So,
But, yep, so, our plan obviously is once the asphalt's down, there is some shoulder work that needs to be done tomorrow, but my hope is that this could be open tomorrow. Once I get the word that it's been done, we'll send an email out to everybody. But if the barricades get pulled, then the road's open. So if you're living in that area, that's good news. Yeah, we're running out of time to get the asphalt down,
Right.
definitely. Bridge 150, that's 1050 southeast of Geneva. Notice is going out. Pioneer Associates is planning on starting that approach work on Wednesday this week. Unfortunately, we are going to have to close the road completely during that construction. Because of the cores that we're going to install, there's going to be about a 6-inch cylinder that they're going to cut out as inspection ports to make sure that we're filling the void underneath that approach slab. There's no good way to cover those holes up that doesn't create a slip or a bump hazard for the buggy traffic that we have there. So to prevent the risk of laming a horse on that during the construction, we're just going to close the road. But it is essentially a 2.5, 3-day job. So they're going to close the road Wednesday, late morning, like 9 o'clock or so. And then the plan is to have this thing opened up by the time buses are running on Friday. So that's going to be a fairly quick job, but unfortunately, we're just going to have to close it to traffic so that we don't put risk. Vehicle traffic's not the problem as far as automobiles and trucks, but if I have a horse hit one of those holes or even hit one of the covers that we have available, it's a potential for them to slip on that, and I don't want to lame a horse as a result of a small project like that. So it's just out of an abundance of caution that we'll go through that. So work will be done by Friday, of course. Next item I've got is the engineering support services agreements. Had planned on talking about this in December, but all 3 consultants have turned in their agreements signed, so I thought I'd just bring this up. We've received all 3 agreements from Engineering Resources, Inc., Butler, Fairman, and Seifert Civil Engineering, and then Jansen and Spawn Engineering for assistance on review and miscellaneous project design work for me. Each agreement is not to exceed $20,000, and they're just going to use the firm's hourly rates. I've given you a copy of their rate reports so you know what they would be agreeing to. I'm recommending signing all 3 of those agreements. For reference, I've used this program in 24 with Engineering Resources to do a design review for me on Bridge 40 and 44 and also 132. Those are projects we actually completed this year that I started and then I stamped and developed in-house. They've also started some reviews on Bridge 73, 31, and then initial review on Bridge 162. My plan is to use this program program for 2025 to do 6 bridge joint repair projects, 2 rigid deck overlays, and then 2 or 3 partial deck patching, which also includes part of 7231 and 162. So we're going to go through those a second time. But that is the sort of work I'm hoping to continue to do, and maybe some additional others. I don't see that we're going to be able to even exhaust the 3 contracts that we have, but since we haven't set a cap before and we haven't proceeded with this seemed like a good system to use for us, and it's well within our budgeted amount for consulting services. So
Are those agreements limited to those projects or not evergreen? They
it
don't
is on call, so that if I had something come up, say an emergency like the small structure impact that we had, I could essentially assign that to somebody with me, develop a plan. So it's kind of open to whatever I direct them to work on.
So the not to exceed wouldn't include additional work, but it would follow the rate schedule?
It would follow the rate schedule, but it would cap them out. So if they're going to try to go beyond that, then we'd probably ask for a supplemental. So they're not going to be able to go beyond those amounts unless I authorize that or there's going to be some action. Yep. So if they think that any work that I would give them would go beyond that, they would have to come back. So I'm going to hold them to those amounts.
And that not to exceed 20,000, is that per project or is that total contract?
Total for the year.
Okay.
And intent is to keep them under that for the year. So, and because the scope is limited to them doing, essentially they're just a plan review. So they're kind of eyes and ears for any issues we have. We're developing those. I'm developing those projects under my stamp. And so they're just assisting me in making sure that I've got the latest and greatest from what their experiences are.
Good.
So, kind of my shadow and helping to make sure that these get developed the way they need to be. So.
Is there any reason to have Mark look at these before we sign?
I had sent those over. All 3 are identical, other than the hourly rate schedule that goes beyond that. So, and it is following the same contract template that we've used in the past.
And we could,
So,
Yeah, as long as it's capped and there's no automatic renewals or an extension without additional approval, then that's all right.
okay, you want to take them all together?
Make a motion to approve the 3 engineering support services agreements as Nate has explained them to us.
Second.
Okay. Very good. Well, in favor of that also.
any other questions for me then? And they're all tabbed for you. There's 2 copies of each. So there's one for the,
Thanks, Nate.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Brad, what do you and Paul have?
They must not have anything.
Must not have anything.
Huh.
Okay, moving on past the highway then.
I think you're getting a dirty look there.
the best for last, is that what you're
No, I think.
We've already called you guys.
We're waiting for Stan to say, Brad?
Yeah. Hey, Brad, Paul.
You did. Wow, you guys were snoozing back there in the back row. That's what happens. Get in the back row, you take a nap. This isn't church.
My head was down, I was praying.
Stay with you.
Thank you, sir.
You need to start wearing earplugs when you run your truck.
Yeah.
It's all striping.
So Paul's handing out our monthly draw for the month of November. Oh, good morning, by the way. Better say that first.
Can I get one? Can I get one of those things?
No.
If I can get the answer.
So for November, our MVH monthly draw, $291,637.12. $291,632.12.
Mine says 37.
It is 6:37. I forgot my glasses today, by the way, so it is 6:37. You're correct. No, Paul's gonna read the bids, so.
I just wanted to point that out.
You're right, it is 6:37. I didn't
Yeah,
have
so you got new eyeballs.
Is that what I can see?
Ask him when we were sitting back here, did you bring glasses?
I don't need glasses anymore, Brad.
Just showing off. That's good for you. You can read that stuff. How far up can you read it? All right, the local road and street draw for the month of November. $48,040.94. $48,040.94.
Very good. Any questions on that report? Not accept a motion to enter that into record.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Oh, you need to second that, don't you?
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Glasses are affecting your
You want me to-
hearing too.
Paul's gonna read that.
I'm gonna get it.
You got 1 minute.
Got one permit, replacing some telephone poles or jerking the old poles out and sticking the new ones right back in the same pole. We're on 450 east between 11 and 1175 south. I talked to the manager on the project. He said they're pulling the old poles out and sticking new ones right back in the same pole, so everything should be good there.
That's just about in the middle of nowhere.
It is out in the
Yeah, that's in the middle of it.
Yeah, it is.
I don't even know why they have power out that way.
That's I&M.
Yeah, it's AEP, yeah.
This is, what company is this?
AEP,
AEP, I&M, whatever it is.
whatever you want to call it.
All right, accept the motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
All right, motion carries. To approve the pole exchange.
So while you guys are signing that, I'll give you, we're gonna open up paint striping bids today, but I'll give you a rundown of where it's at while you guys finish signing that. So we're doing 1050 south from the Geneva city limits to 100 east. And then from 100 east to 500 east, it turns into 1100 south. It's the same road, just the curve changes it. So we're paint striping all that. And then we have 5 railroad crossings here that we're responsible for in the county, which would be 850 north, 900 north, 1000 north, 1100 north, and 100 west. And so basically what the railroads include is at 850 north, there's not enough room between the highway and that to do a big railroad, but it will have that stop bar. But then all the others will have a stop bar and the big railroad crossing paintings on the road.
So we're responsible for the big crossbar?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah,
So all the crossings are done.
what was that one the guy called you about, the one crossing? Railroad crossing. Did they do that last week?
Yeah, yeah, they did it on Saturday.
850 north. They waited apparently to do it on a weekend, but
No.
they got in and as far as we know, it's
Where's that
done.
notice?
Where's that,
Did they clear the brush back on 1000 north then?
They did some. Yeah.
So they need to take more?
Well, right now it's kind of hard to tell, but next spring we'll be able to tell a little better.
Okay.
Yeah. They did some, but I don't know if it's enough.
on this 1050 south and 1100, where's that start in Geneva? And are you going to where 116 did make that straight
Yeah.
south turn? You'll
Yeah.
stop right there.
That's 500 east.
Yes.
It's, oh, where's it stop there? The edge of Geneva. It's just past, I don't know how to say it,
It's basically right there at.
the last house on the north side.
It's
Just past that
basically
a
right
little
there at
bit.
Fields is.
Oh, there.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
If you
I was
drive
just
out
curious
there-
where
Yeah.
that started.
Yep.
If you drive, you can tell the obvious difference in the road from town to county. There's a pretty defined crack there where it changed.
So the first one, who's it from?
First one is from C.E. Hughes Milling Incorporated?
Doing business as the Air Marking Company,
Oh, sorry.
and they are out of Rochester, Indiana.
Okay, we want to list each road or how you want to do it?
No, there
Total.
should be a total. We're just doing a total at the bottom. Then like we always do, we'll go back and go through them and bring it back next week.
I'm gonna have to get my calculator out 'cause they don't-
They don't have it all on one page.
well, they got two separate pages, they're the same, but I don't. They just gotta list it out each one. Let's just list, they got it out there, let's just list it.
Okay, I guess on this one, we're gonna list it out. This was, Air Marking, right?
Air Marking, Winchester Road.
Oh, I forgot Winchester Road, by the way.
So
We're also doing that. All of from Decatur City, Lemons County line.
Still got listed out, because they got a white line and yellow line separate.
They didn't give us a total at the bottom.
You?
Well, it's an interesting day so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, for Winchester Road, yellow lines and white lines, we're looking at $66,792.33.
And that's for CE Hughes,
Air Marking Company.
Air Marking, okay. And can you read that number one more time?
Yes, $66,792.33.
Okay,
Okay, now the next one is 1050 South, Geneva, city limits to 100 East. White and yellow.
so was that a total or was that one of the,
That was just for that road.
That
Yeah,
was just
that
for
was a total for
Winchester.
Winchester,
just for Winchester?
just for Winchester.
Because you said you were gonna do just the totals.
Well, yeah, and then they threw us because they didn't give us a total. Paul's at them out.
Okay, on the 1050 South, Geneva city limits to 100 East for yellow stripes and white stripes, we're at $18,724.35. $18,724.35.
And these are all for air marking.
Yes. Now, the next one's going to be the 1100 South from 100 East to 500 East.
Tony, thanks for going quick this morning. That's helping us out.
Like I said, I did my part. Can I get a copy, just make a copy of what you did so I can get the,
Okay, the total for that is $32,560.46. $32,560.46. Nope. So we got I'm just gonna put all the railroad crossings together on the next one.
Are these better paint?
Yes.
It's
We
supposed
went
to be more
the,
recent last time.
supposed, yep, it's a step above what we had last time. It's an epoxy.
Good.
How long's the guarantee you think, Brad?
There's
There is no guarantee.
really no guarantee. Yeah, that's fine. Just put it in there. And it depends on the type of traffic there, where it's at too, so.
Okay, for all the railroad crossings combined is $11,100. $11,100. That's for 5 crossings. No, we'll add one.
Okay, we're gonna add them up, but my handwriting, not having glasses, if we're off a couple of dollars, we'll come back next week with it.
You can double check the math.
Yeah, this is all one project.
You doing a total on the
He's totaling it up.
Total is $129,992.33. $177.14. 129, 177.14.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise, they will go buy it.
I don't understand why it's 32,000 from 100 to 500, but the town of Geneva at 100 is only 18,000. That don't make sense. 'cause
Well,
you
they
got,
got mileage, Joe.
you got herbs and everything else in that.
Yeah, but still the
That's-
mileage.
Just mileage.
Mile,
Yeah.
basically by the mile.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, if you figure like where the old gravel pit is 25 west. So then you go, let's say it's a half mile, then you
You
go
gotta
out
go
to
to
100
Trevor C
east.
Road,
Yeah, go out to
back.
100 east.
1, 2.
That's only a couple miles, where from 1 to 5 is 4 miles. Yeah,
Out there.
but yeah, that's the way I'm,
Yeah, you're right. I was
Yeah.
just sitting here thinking, wow.
yeah.
The next one is from Oglesby Construction, Norwalk, Ohio. Yeah, Arrow Mark.
Air marking did have their non-collusion. We didn't put a space in there, but they did have it. Oglesby has it also.
Yep. This is what we're missing. Okay, you want to break it down again, or just one total?
Are you guys all right if they have a total, just do the total?
Their total for the exact same jobs is $178,426.60. 178,426.60.
You're gonna go with the same company for all of it. You're not gonna break it
Yeah,
up.
no, this is all, it's all one project.
Okay.
It's just the way we have to give it to them so they know every section.
And this one is from Arrow Mark Company out of Aurora, Ohio.
And they are not on the top. That was one of them that turned in that we did not. We knew they were interested, but
That one word, Arrow Mark?
Arrow Mark. It is spelled AERO dash Mark Company LLC.
what's the?
Aurora, Ohio. Okay, they have their non-collusion. And their total is $143,221 even. $143,221.
We thought 1.9.
The last company is from Three Rivers Barricade out of Fort Wayne. And they have their non-collusion. Okay, their total is $160,799.
Who was this again?
Three Rivers.
Three Rivers Barricade out of Fort Wayne.
160 what?
$160,799.
So we'd ask you to take this under advisement so we can go back and go through everything and then we'll come back next week with a recommendation.
Is that something they do this fall yet?
No,
No.
this is for next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
We wanted to bid it this year so we could get it early in the spring.
get on their list.
Good. Good. All right.
Make a motion, we take these bids under advisement.
Second.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
And then, just as a reminder, next week, we're opening bids for 700 South project. So, yeah, that there will be interesting. That's a big one. So, and then basically right now, welcome to winter.
They're working on our concrete in the shop.
Yeah, our concrete drains,
Good. Good deal.
they got in there and they're busting it out right now.
Good. Good
So,
deal.
yep.
Very good. Get
Yeah.
any burning done?
Birmingham, we had a couple days
We had a
last
couple
week,
days.
and I had a couple of days,
This-
well, we did
we did
yesterday, and then I said, bring the equipment back, because I don't know what it's gonna look like, so. We brought the
Forecast
equipment back this
doesn't
morning.
look
Was up
Has to be
later.
dry to do that.
It don't have to be
Relatively
completely
dry.
dry, but it can't be so wet that we can't get in to dump the dirt.
Okay.
And we don't want to smear up the road with mud as we're riding. I mean, we sweep it off, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the
Good.
next step is either dries up or it freezes up a little bit. If we can get a little bit of frost, but not too much, we can still burn.
We're not asking for.
And the
much.
machine's still
Yeah.
working good?
Oh, yes.
Everything's working fantastic.
Thank you again, you guys, for that. That
Good.
machine is,
Yeah.
yes, wonderful.
They can cover many miles a day, and before we were lucky if we got one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
All
Yeah.
right.
Did you print this up?
If we had one quick,
Oh, yes,
tons
I
of
did.
salt you could have on hand right now for the winter.
100 ton
We got 125 ton of salt sand.
on hand.
Yep.
And we've got 100 ordered.
100 more ordered. Yep.
Okay.
At least. Yes, I got it. You may take it up, David.
Here, take mine.
You just want this?
Oh, you want that? Okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
can make a copy of
Yeah,
that.
we'll make a copy.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've got to back here.
No, he brought his hand.
Other than that, that's what we got. So,
All right, anything else for these gentlemen?
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Rick's not here. Ed, did you have anything for us?
Yeah, just real quick. Well, I've not been here for a couple of weeks because of tax time. We've noticed, I think you can understand that. I saw, let's see, most of you are paying your taxes, most of you.
Oh, crap, that was last week.
I got your receipt. But everything's going along pretty well with the taxes. We still have some from the two banks that have multiple branches. And we're picking up all of the slips that they have accumulated and reconciled. And we'll be working on those through the rest of the week. So next week, I'll have a final number for you from where we stand. So everything's in real good shape. Last week, Tony submitted my monthly payroll or treasurer's report, and you guys passed that. I didn't know if you had any specific questions on that.
I don't know that we did. I think,
And the other thing that I just wanted to give you is take a good look at this. This is where we stand with our banking accounts and stuff. I want to give you that on a monthly basis because starting in January, when we have our financial planning meeting, we'll go over that in detail. That we got 2 months to go and in this year, and we're already in pretty good shape. That's all I really have at this point, unless you gentlemen have any questions.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much.
all right, thank you, Ed.
I hope you hear the commissioners on this.
I think we should get a footnote there.
should.
We want a little footnote at the record interest earned, who the commissioners were.
Yeah, we want that footnote on there.
Yeah,
Take care of that.
all right. Thank you, Ed. All right, Mark, do you have anything for us today?
No, other than we just waiting on some time to set up a conference call with Jason Summer and Randy Rapala, who was Barnes and Thornburg Bond Counsel, to talk about that court financing discussion that we had last week. So hopefully I get a meeting set up with them here soon. We had some questions for them about that. It seemed like the council was willing to look at a project if it can be financed with income tax and not property tax. So see what see what the possibilities are.
Very good. Well, I will encourage the council to participate in looking at all options on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that it can be done, but the idea that you would not continue to have the rate that you have now and not need some sort of an increase, I think is not possible, but it can be done because you do have the room in income tax that you're not utilizing, which is good. You're not utilizing it, but it's there. You've got plenty of headroom. So we'll see. We'll get some answers to those questions. And like I said, at the council meeting, we need to have the tools to analyze the different options. And I'm confident that Baker Tilly can get that for us, and we'll see what we have. As soon as I get information from them and have a meeting with them, then we'll send that out to everybody for you to look at.
Very good. Well, we will look forward to finding a path forward on that project. Thank you. All right, Shannon, did you have anything for us?
I've got two things real quick, Stan.
Okay.
The sheriff dropped us off yesterday, because he's not here today. So, the Adams County Jail entered a medical services or healthcare services contract back on December 1st, 2018. That's through Quality Correctional Care. Quality Correctional Care just recently, back on November 15th, just sent him a short addendum to that contract. It's just a change in their billing processes. So he wanted me to bring it and just request that you guys provide approval for him to execute that, and I'll forward it on to him.
Did the addendum, that just was a change in pricing or billing?
There's not a change in pricing. It's only a change. It's the same amount. Nothing is changing there. It's just their billing processes have changed. So again, it's really a non-issue, but.
And you've looked at it and you're recommending we approve?
Yep.
Okay, let's accept the motion then.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right, very good.
Then nothing really further. I'll just give this to Tony for Steve to sign. It was previously approved. It's that, the quick claim deed from the Parks Department to Root Township for that piece of property. Just the two Steves hadn't signed it yet, so just at some point.
Okay.
Hey, lady, what's that healthcare company called?
Quality Correctional Care. I don't know.
Well,
It's
we're
not
not,
my new actually.
probably not. Okay. All right, Shannon had nothing. And Rick is not here. Did you guys have something for us? Okay. You want to come on up? You guys didn't buy another trailer, did you?
No, but we did get it dropped off yesterday for the spray liner.
Oh, good.
We're just back for the debris management for you guys to
Oh,
sign.
right.
We did update that paragraph then.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
So the changes on page 15, I believe, we just added one line in there stating that upon your approval, the EMA would be in charge of that.
In charge of debris management. Good. I just didn't think it was quite clear enough. When I read it, I was like, is this a done deal, or do we still have to do this, or is this what we're going to do? So I
Yes.
appreciate you clearing that up.
Yeah.
I'll just comment again. Every time I read one of these, because I've never read them before and I'm new at this game, I continue to be amazed at how much coordination it takes, how much work it takes, and how much forethought it takes to think about all these things that may and hopefully never will happen, but you have to have a plan in place for. So thank you.
You're welcome.
We've already approved that. Do we need to approve that with the change then?
I don't think we've approved it yet. Have we? Did we approve? I think we
No.
just kind of took it up because we'd seen it for the first time last week, and I asked if we could have a week to review it. So
Sure.
Okay.
And then we just need your signatures once it's approved on the very back page.
make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Motion carries.
What
Thank
is
you.
this plan? What is this thing here?
This is a debris management plan.
Very good.
Yeah.
So then our next step, once you have approved, or since you've approved, we will send this document out to all of those department heads. They're on the page prior to the one you sign, and have them review it and make sure that they can comply with it. And if they don't want to comply, that's fine. But, you know, then it will be up to them to be responsible.
If they want to be a part of the coordinated
For their
effort, they have to sign on to the plan.
Yes, yes. And then we'll also ask each city and town, we'll do an MOU with them so that everything's legal and everybody knows what's going on.
You know, I see these disasters and I wonder, how do they make that all work? How does that happen? Now I'm kind of getting a glimpse into how that happens.
And again, it's like, we hope we never, ever have
Yeah.
to use this, but
Right.
if it happens, we need it. We
Yeah.
need to have it ready.
Well, like in Florida, their debris management plan involved shoveling sand out of their swimming pools and letting
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, thank
You
you
guys
very
all signed
much.
it, right?
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
All right.
Once the other entities have all signed,
Then we'll,
send me so we can scan it and save it.
perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
You win the song contest today.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, stop in anytime.
Okay.
All right, very good. Anything else from general public? Any other reports from you gentlemen?
I just had a question. We have a meeting scheduled for December 26th, I believe, which would be the day after Christmas. And I guess I'm not sure that how effective that meeting would be, being the day after Christmas, and who would be available and how much people we would have out here. So I guess I just wanted to ask or talk about whether we could potentially just cancel that meeting.
I'll make a motion, we cancel the meeting for December 26th.
Okay. Tony, any problems with, because we are not having a meeting on the 31st.
Right. I don't think there's a problem, because Mark had done an ordinance, a while back pre-approving, the payment of those. So we can go ahead and pay
Go ahead
them.
and pay the bills. We'll
Yes.
Approve them later. Approve them at that first meeting in
Correct.
January then.
Correct, yeah.
I'll second-
if you guys are okay
second
with that.
motion.
All right. You guys are gonna miss us. I don't know what you're gonna put in the paper. We don't have meetings for 2 weeks. So.
How about the next week, the day after New Year's Day? Isn't that also kind of those people aren't around, January 2nd? I mean, they're still hungover from the football game.
Yeah, we don't have a meeting that day either, so.
We don't?
No, we won't have a meeting till our meeting, our first January meeting will be January 7th, I think.
There's the whole year, there's no meeting. I said January 7th. I didn't know.
So our last December meeting is the 17th,
That's a big gap.
and then we
Yeah.
won't meet again until January 7th. So,
Is that unusual to have that big of a gap?
Probably. See, Christmas and those holidays fall on tough days for us to
Yeah.
figure out how to manage through.
What day it falls on.
Well, with the holidays on Wednesday, meeting on Tuesday is tough.
yeah. Can you do that at the paper, Eric, to where you just vote yourselves days off?
We get about 5 holidays a year, the Democrats, 5 holidays, that's about it.
Okay.
You get 14,
Yeah.
or whatever, 13.
Yeah.
Every day's a holiday for me, Eric. Every day's a holiday.
April 2nd's the day right after my birthday. April
Nope.
Fool's Day? More than that day?
10 minutes till midnight at the Adams County.
Sure about that.
Okay.
All right.
Ready for a motion to adjourn?
Steve, anything else?
No, I just told you about them, Brad and I's adventure out through the
Yeah.
farm ground. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion carries.